Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to another TW9 video. We join us on Go Home Week for AEW Wrestledream, where hopefully we can tie up a few of the loose ends and make things make a little sense. A lot of last minute call outs because it was quite a short period of time from the last event, the Dynamite anniversary show. But I say we should still have a decent show today for both Dynamite and Collision, rounding that up. Next episode will be the pay per view, which I say it's pay per views with AEW, so it was as usually solid. And then that big long run. This is where we're going to have the good run up to Full Gear. My only worry with this particular show is off the last event we had quite a lot of storylines as cold because short times didn't really change too much. I've put a lot of storyline ideas, obviously they may not all work, so we could be looking at still losing a little bit in terms of the rating of the show and obviously popularity because of that. But as I say, I just need a good run of shows and a good run of television so we can get those storylines over. So hopefully you enjoy what I've put together. As I say, it was a decent show. We're on a nice wee run where I can actually book shows back to back. So sit back, relax and enjoy. First, it is AEW Dynamite. So we're here at the CFG Bank Arena and we start off with some action. And we're straight into a decent matchup where I had Jay White defeat AR Fox in 7:14 with the Blade Runner. These two put together a pretty solid 72 rated wrestling rating and a 70 rated segment overall. Very good stuff from the Switchblade with his 80 rated in-ring performance. So this led to some words from Jay White in the ring, little promo. So it's funny to me that we have people coming out here and saying, someone step up, fight me, bring me competition. Well, it's funny because I'm right here and they not at any point decide to go, yo, Switchblade, let's hook it up. You see, for far too long, I've stood stagnant here, and it's time for the Switchblade era to truly take over. I mean, look at my resume. Title after title, tournament win here and there. So the challenge is now issued. Pig Walter, I'll see you at Wrestledream, where you can try and breathe with the Switchblade. So a very quick way to get is Jay White versus Walter for the AEW International Championship, and that segment was a 77. No storyline because I feel like with this one it might be short term and I can play off it, or it could lead to a run down the line. I'll see how they mesh effectively, but I've not done too much with Jay White, so I felt it was a good place to put him in. Some more short action here. It was a decent wild brawl that saw Eddie Kingston defeat Preston Vance in 7:01 with the back fist to the future. The wild brawl style obviously suits Eddie Kingston. That was a 79. So Wrestling 65 segment overall was a 70 because obviously capped by length of time. This led to some words from Eddie Kingston. So I've learned a few things over the last week. Despite Mox kicking Utah's ass, he's ran back to him like a little bitch, because that's going to get you where you want to be. You want to be a tough guy, Utah, then get the hell away from Mox. But it's Mox that I want, and I know that Mox is running scared from me. So you know what? I'll do it the hard way. Mox, if you won't face me at Wrestledream, then I want you at Full Gear. And I know you'll run scared from that, so I'll make you a little deal. This Sunday, I'll battle that prick Claudio, and when I beat him, you're next, brother. Did I add anything to that? Nope. So, that kind of covers the whole thing of obviously Mox beating the crap out of Utah, so we can kind of have Utah kind of wanting to basically be accepted and wanted. I feel that's the only way I can tie that back, because that was a stupid angle from myself, just randomly putting them back with them. But the segment was a 78. The war storyline has advanced and gained heat. The storyline idea was deployed with success, so that's obviously good. And Eddie improvised well. So already for first two matches, you can pretty much see we've got Eddie versus Claudio and Walter versus Jay White for Sunday. That's 78. Pretty good stuff. More action here. And it was a decent matchup that saw Ua and Ricochet, your tag team champions, defeat the Conglomeration, Rocky Romero and Mark Briscoe. In 11:09 when Ricochet pinned Mark Briscoe with the 6:30 splash. Ricochet was fantastic in this match, an 89 performance, so it truly suited him. Wrestling was a 70 here, segment 76 is good stuff. Mark Briscoe hinting at a potential heel turn, and Paul Heyman doing some good work at ringside. We had a little segment backstage. We basically had Renee Paquette speaking to Kyle Fletcher. Mark Davis was there as well. Basically talking about the actions, of course, the Hurt Syndicate. So Kyle Fletcher says, the last few weeks, I maybe was a little bit selfish, trying to test myself against the very best here in AEW. And sure, I probably paid for that with the ambush from the Hurt Syndicate. But me and Davis, Aussie Open, are still strong, and we are still the best tag team in this company, as shown by our tag title run. So this Sunday we will get our revenge on the Hurt Syndicate. MVP, give your boys a little warning, because like Bobby and Shelton, we also hurt people. So setting up that one, third matchup announced for the pay-per-view, Aussie Open versus the Hurt Syndicate. 62 segment here, Renee is always going to come across well. Storyline idea was deployed and was a success, although the storyline didn't advance it in terms of any heat or anything, it's just moved on a little. So I assume that will still be a cold storyline, which is a shame. And a little backstage character development segment where we have Mark Briscoe talking to Rocky Romero. He just says, "Damn it, Rocky, what the hell did you just make me do? I made a vow that I would never wrestle again in a tag team match in memory of my brother, and you've made me go out against that. And you know what? We lost. I lost here, I lost the trios match, and now the Young Bucks won't trust me. I'm sick of this shit, just leave me alone." So Mark Briscoe comes across well here, and it was a 42 character development segment. Next up, we had a bout for the TNT Championship that had a decent reaction from the crowd and Super Wrestling. Samoa Joe with the easy victory over Action Andretti in 8:15 by submission. Storyteller matchup just to give Joe another victory. Pad those title defences, get that prestige up a little if we can. 53 for the wrestling, 57 segment. Joe be a 64, benefits from being an amazing forum. Action Andretti really off his game, so probably he'd have been maybe high 40s, and I think you maybe saw the match would maybe be about a 60. But yeah, good win for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe heads to the back and as we get ready for Kevin Steen versus another alumni of Ring of Honor in the form of Matt Sydal. We see Joe walk by and he notices Kevin Steen, and he decides to give him a little shoulder barge. Think All Out, MGF, and Samoa Joe, similar to that. And this infuriates Steen. And he goes, "Oh, you think you're a tough guy, yeah?" Joe then stops and turns towards Steen, who notices this and then just bolts away to the ring for his match. So a 75 rated segment. I think we'll touch on this at the pay-per-view, but the plan is Kevin Steen, Samoa Joe for the TNT Championship, which would be pretty cool. Decent matchup though, Kevin Steen versus Matt Sydal. Steen wins in 10:03 with a package pile driver. I made it steal the show, was going to be a bit unsure how the styles would click together, but good to get Matt Sydal back. He's obviously not going to win much matches, but you know we're always going to get a good effort from him. 68 and a 76 rated segment. We then had a little segment backstage where we see Wheeler Yuta barge into Scott D'Amore's office, and he goes, "I'm sick of this. I'm sick of people saying I'm a bitch and I can't hang at the top. I went 60 minutes with the American Dragon, goddammit. I want you to put me in a big match in tonight's main event. I'll show you, I'll show the world, and most importantly, I'll show Mox what I can do." Scott D'Amore's a bit taken aback by this. And he says, "You know what, Wheeler? It's a bit annoying that you have Kim bursting in. Pretty rude. However, I admire the confidence to try and back yourself. So tonight, yeah, I'll give you a massive main event match. Hell, with a potential reward. You, Kenny Omega, Continental Championship. Good luck." So, again, because of the arse up I made with Yuta, I really need to try and backtrack into making something out of it. So, a 52 rated segment there. Yuta try to prove himself to the Death Riders. As I say, because I had so long between episodes, I forgot the tangent I went with him, so hopefully I can pull it back. Yuta then storms out and he bumps into Daniel Garcia, and he just goes, "What the hell has went wrong with you, Yuta? Run around here like a little bitch. What happened to the man that stood across from me in the ring? You should just be like me. Use this as motivation, because we will be the future. We will be the backbone of this company." So a 61 there. If you remember, the first ever matchup on the save was Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta. That's what I was alluding to. So yeah, there's a bit of history between these ones, but yeah, Garcia just like, "Hey, I get motivated by Samoa Joe. It's time you get motivated and start picking up around here." Co-main event. Decent matchup that saw Masha Slamovich and Megan Bayne defeat Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm in 11:51 when Masha Slamovich pinned Toni Storm with the diving headbutt. Basically give her some momentum going into their TBS Championship match this Sunday. Sadly though, Thunder Rosa was really off her game. Her and Toni Storm have zero chemistry as partners. However, the storyline advanced gained heat, and the storyline idea was a success. You can see there, Megan Bain, really impressive stuff there by 71. I think it might be one of her highest ratings so far. We've booked her really well, I must say. Masha get a 68. Sadly, that brought Tony down to 57. But yeah, 58 overall. Just to say, Thunderstorm, not the greatest night for them. And that will lead us to our main event of the evening. Kenny Omega, Wheeler Yuta. And it has had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Kenny defeated Yuta in 1942 with the V-Trigger, giving him his 15th defence of the AEW Continental Championship. So Kenny just blasting out major matches, again just giving us a good chance to gain pop, or at least not lose pop when we have not enough hot storylines. But Kenny went 94, Yuta 66, and that's saying we have pretty good chemistry, given at 85 is solid. And we finished the show with some words from Kenny Omega. And he says, for all the crap that Yuta gets, he put up a hell of an effort here, and we had a great matchup. Really fitting for this championship, and this Sunday I aim to do the same. However, I feel it's time for someone in Collision to step up to the plate, so I'll step on by and see if this one person I have in mind shows up. As this happens, the light pans to the top of the arena, where we see Darby Allin stand with a baseball bat and point at Kenny Omega. So obviously Darby might be a bit agitated because of what Kenny done previously. Obviously not allowing this matchup to take place to the last minute if Darby was going to challenge him. So a 72 segment there, but who will Kenny speak to on Collision? Well, that remains to be seen. But storyline advanced and gained heat. Storyline idea was deployed and was a success. Kenny's getting stale. Can we avoid the heavy penalties? The answer is no, we didn't. We tried. I thought it was a good effort. So overall, we dropped to 70. We lose popularity in 48 regions. We gained in 3. It was used too much. But yeah, I thought it was fine to lose in battle there with too many storylines that weren't hot. I think it will be a case they take the pain for this show, take the pain for Collision. We should get most of them, get a bit of heat because the pay-per-view matches will deliver. And then we can obviously start afresh coming out. So a bit annoying, but I did expect it and I thought I was going to be fighting a bit of a losing battle there. Any locker room incidents? Pac and Kyle Fletcher have butted heads and are both furious at each other. And that is it. So we'll jump over to Collision. And then, of course, as usual, we'll jump to Rampage and Shockwave after that. So we now move on to Collision. Hopefully we can use a few of our storyline idea boosts to try and make sure we don't lose pop here, but we'll see how the final A show before Wrestledream goes down. We start the show with MJF having some words for Hangman Adam Page. Tomorrow night will be an absolute joke, and I, for one, cannot wait to sue AEW for the damages it's likely to cause myself, but also what they will make me do to Hangman Adam Page. Hangman, you have an issue with how I conduct my business. I'm a very smart man, and with the great leadership and guidance and words from William Regal, this can only help me. I know that myself, Starks, Wardlow, we are the backbone of this company. We're not scrubs like you, Omega, the Bucks, and some others have been. They claim they're a joke, you're a joke, but this is no laughing matter. I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to move on to the world type picture. So last words from MJF before we have that matchup tomorrow night. MJF and Hangman within a steel cage. We'll go over the full card for Wrestledream at the end of the video, but 84, very good segment to start the show. The backbone storyline advances, gains heat, and MJF did a masterful job of improvising interactions with the crowd. Opening contest was decent. Orange Cassidy defeats Johnny TV in 11:45 with the beach break. I made this to steal the show. Matchup sadly not too great from Johnny TV. I actually thought these two would combine to something decent, but yeah, Johnny will just practically be enhancement duties. 60 for the wrestling and a 66 rated segment. Orange Cassidy picks up the win and he has his usual half-arsed celebration. We then hear the music of Kenny Omega and he comes to the ring. Orange Cassidy, just the man I wanted to speak to. One man who's been here since day one, putting on great match after great match and surprising so many of the world with just how good you are. Now we've battled before, so I know how good you are, and that's why I want to fight you. I want to raise the prestige of this Continental Championship, and I feel you're just the man I want to face to do that. So how about it tomorrow night, Wrestledream? And OC just raises the thumb. So that's who Kenny Omega was looking for. So he's been so disrespectful, you could say, to Darby Allin, but it will be tomorrow night. Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy for the Continental Championship. A very solid segment. It was an 88. I just fired them into the Callous Plan storyline, which gained heat with the 88 rated segment. Next up, I bet they had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. FTR defeat Top Flight in 11:04 when Cash Wheeler pinned Dante Martin with the big rig. Dante was a weak link with only a 65, but some very impressive stuff here from especially Dax Harwood. 75 wrestling and an 80 rated segment. That's good for the tag division. We then hear from mostly Dax in this situation saying, now would you look at that? Another tag team put to the sword by the great FTR, and of course, this Sunday, where are we in the card? Nowhere. We're sick and we're tired of this crap, so tomorrow night at one point we will take Wrestledream hostage. 59 for that one. It is what it is. We then had a decent matchup that saw Kevin Steen defeat Kip Sabian in 8-12 with the package pile driver. Storytelling matchup just made it to be an enhanced match here. Kip Sabian doing his job and duties. 63 wrestling, 70 rated segment. Yeah, that's what it is. Solid stuff. We then hear from Kevin Steen. It's a bit of a shambles that AEW management feel it's fine for Samoa Joe to walk around here and just barge into their employees. I mean, he should be fined, suspended, and made to vacate his AEW TNT Championship. But of course he's not. AEW management don't have the balls for that. But it's fine, I'll deal with this adversity as I always do. And Joe, I'm not going to just beat you for your TNT title. I'm going to choke you out. So maybe a bit of sarcasm there because, imagine Kevin Steen trying to put Samoa Joe in a kick in a clutch, but a 75 segment, storyline advances or starts here. And yeah, Joe Steen, TNT Championship tomorrow night. Next up was a trios match in the women's division. Decent matchup, Io Shirai, Jamie Hayter and Willow Nightingale. So Willow's got a lot of friends here to take on the Monet Corporation. In this situation was Mercedes, Nixon, Null and Sky Blue. And they win in 11:31 when Willow pinned Nixon. Io was head and shoulders above the rest with an 89 performance, holy cow. 71 for the segment. Storyline advances, gains heat. Sadly, both Nixon and Sky were really off their game, but impressive stuff with Io's 89. And yeah, looking forward to Willow versus Mercedes tomorrow night. We then had some words from Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson speaking about Mark Briscoe and speaking towards Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. So Matthew Jackson starts the promo. Now, we know we divide opinion on so many people around the wrestling world, but we know you love us really. We know that we used to know we want more accolades. We want those trios championships, and as much as we love Mark Briscoe, we just couldn't trust him to get the job done after last time. So we went out and we got a third man. Someone elite. Someone, and then they're interrupted by the Undisputed Kingdom. Adam Cole speaks and says, Nick, Matt, so who is it? Are you going to tell us? You think you would tell your good friend Adam Cole, baby, who it is? Nicholas just says, we're going to keep it a surprise. Give you a little bit of shock value at Wrestledream. Kind of pisses Cole off a little bit. So I'm not good enough to know? Fine. But this Sunday, me, Kyle, Roddy, a true trio, we're going to run right through you and this apparent partner of yours. Boom. So setting up for that trios matchup, 61 rated segment. Storyline advances, the storyline idea was a success. Cole was a real star, he worked well without the script, which is good to see. A little hint there from Mark Briscoe. And yeah, morale boosts for Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole because of the successful storyline idea. So good stuff there. Vital Brawl next that saw some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the audience. Walter defeats Juice Robinson in 10:51 with a knife edge chop. 93 for Walter and a 55 for Juice. A 74 rated matchup and a 76 rated segment. This leads to Walter basically saying, Jay White, if this is a representation of you and what you may believe in, then I hope to help you pray a little tomorrow night, because this standard is just not what is required to be AEW International Champion. I'm aware of your background and your accolades, but I'm also aware of your antics and the depths that you'll go to. But tomorrow night, none of that will matter, because I will break you. 75 rated segment, storyline idea was deployed, was a success. The Walter's Run storyline advances with the segment, and yeah, Walter J. White International Championship. And our main event had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. AJ Styles defeats Swerve Strickland in 21-15 with the phenomenal forearm, following a distraction from Sami Zayn. So the storyline between Sami and Swerve advances and gains heat, which is good. 81 for wrestling, 78 segment. I know Swerve would be happy to put AJ over. It makes AJ look strong going into the matchup with Okada, and adds a bit more heat behind Sami versus Swerve. And we finish the show with Swerve Strickland in complete shock that he's been caused by Sami Zayn, and he just ran to the back to try and get his hands on him. AJ gives us a few words. For over 25 years I've been on this journey, and I know I only have a limited time left, but what better to spend those final times, not only as a fantastic mentor to the young Nick Wayne, but to stand forward as a world champion. And if I want to do that, then I must battle someone I know very well, and that's someone I've had many encounters with before, Kazuchika Okada. Now Okada, I may not be the AJ Styles of our time in Japan, but remember one thing, I am, and always will be, phenomenal. So again, two storylines advance and gain heat. That's a Sami and Swerve one and the world title. The storyline idea was deployed and was a success. 2 hot catchphrases, a 71 segment overall. Have we turned it round? We did, thankfully. I got a lot of heat in and stuff. Quite happy with that one. I felt like it was a position where the rating didn't overly matter. It was getting these storylines to be hot, carried into the pay-per-view. I think it's a massive turnaround from Dynamite. And the good thing is, to say, after Wrestledream, a few storylines will continue, but there's a proper reset and that big build to full gear. But yeah, delighted that one. Obviously helped with the Orange Cassidy stuff, as always. No locker room incidents, so we'll jump back to the main screen and we'll cover Rampage and Shockwave. Time to cover the rest of the week in AEW and the wrestling business in general. Michael Hayes likely to sign an extension with the WWE. Collision was pretty positive. Shockwave was pretty positive. We'll obviously get to that. Having a wee look here, I don't see anything that directly affects us too much. MLW have signed Sidney Akeem, but I think that's really it. Nothing too much. Alberto El Patron has claimed a major championship. Oh. News items, Leon Slater has gone from GCW. Obviously, I shortlist everyone from all the big companies, so we'll get that news there. Collision had a 1.43 rating. Shockwave had 2.8 million viewers. Mercedes Monet says that Kip Sabian's ring psychology is poor. I don't see Kip getting much of a push, bar being enhancement talent. So we'll go over the 2 results of the 2B shows, and then we'll cover the card that will take place in our next episode, which will be, of course, Wrestledream. So over on Rampage, we had Mike Bailey defeat Darius Lockhart on a one-off appearance there, was a 54. Some words from Chris Statlander, that was a 62. Pac squashes Michael Nakazawa on a 55 before a promo from him at 67. We then had Billy Starks defeat the Bunny in 64. You'll see her on a lot of these shows. It's really just to give her the reps to help her stats develop. With all angle between Becky and Mercedes Moné at 78 before Darby Allin defeats John Silver in a 74 rated main event. Over on Shockwaves, we had the House of Black, Buddy Matthews, Brody King and Malachi Black defeat Scorpio Sky and Top Flight, which was a 74. We had some words from Anna Jay, which was a 52 before Io Shirai defeated her in a 76 rated match. We had some words from Bailey, which was a 65 before she defeated Billy Starks in a 71. Backstage, Babatunde randomly showed up, so we just had Powerhouse Hobbs beat him down, which was a 70. And then MVP and Lashley laughed at the prospect alongside Hobbs, which was a 73. Hologram defeated Isaiah Cassidy in a 68. Don Callis promoted the rest of the family, which was a 68. Before a very exciting main event that saw Konosuke Takeshita defeat Michael Oku in an 80 rated main event. If I go to my storylines, I did notice now this has popped up, so Swerve and Sammy is only at 55. 45 for that. So what are the three that are over? Well, that's not getting over. 62 there. 67, that's worry. So the Backbone's up to 77. TBS is still cold. The Trios is hot, so that's 2, and then another one will be the world title, which is the war one between Mox and Eddie, which is an 83. So yeah, there's a few that I need to try and get over. But my storylines are a bit of a mess because of the short turnaround, and as I say, I'll be starting a lot afresh after Wrestledream. So speaking of Wrestledream, your card. So we'll have a cage match between Hangman Adam Page and MJF. We'll have some words with FTR. The Undisputed Kingdom will defend the Trios Championship against the Young Bucks and partner. Samoa Joe defends the TNT Championship against Kevin Steen. Kenny Omega defends the Continental Championship against Orange Cassidy. The International Championships on the line as Walter takes on Jay White. I might throw in Takeshita Danielson. I didn't really add that in, but the plan was to build it a bit stronger than I did. Let me have a look at that one. Did we really book that the week before? I know I kind of teased it in that Fatal 4-Way. I might just throw it in. Why not? A wee cheap throw it. I probably should have added Angle in, but I think I ran out of time. Claudio versus Eddie. Tag Team Championships on the line is Kofi and Woods take on Ricochet and Ua. TBS Championship on the line is Tony Storm defends against Masha Slamovich. AEW Women's Championship on the line is Mercedes Moné defends against Willow Nightingale. Swerve Strickland versus Sami Zayn. And for the AEW World Championship, it is the phenomenal AJ Styles challenging Kazuchika Okada. So hopefully we have a really good show, and then I can kind of sort the rosters out and stop having people crossing over in shows and just firmly allocate belts to shows and go for there. Cause I think that's a bit of my downfall, but we'll get there. There's a lot of big shows in quick succession. Hopefully a lot of television can help us going forward. So cheers for watching, much appreciated. A wee thumbs up appreciated. And mind check out the Fancy Booker subreddit, Grey Dog Software forums, bethebooker.net, and I forgot the other one. Great. bethebooker.net, and no, it's gone. Anyway, cheers for watching. I've bothered on enough. And yeah, we'll see you soon. twdb.com, that was it, of course. Bye.